Hello, Amora, and welcome to this week's edition of a late night screen review. And this week we're talking about part 2 of our compendium of Wednesday, the Netflix series. Hooray.
Birthday, yes. Happy never.
So welcome everyone to part 2 of our Wednesday review. This week we're talking about episodes 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 4 episodes kind of condensed into one. This is going to be a very kind of light review anyway, so don't worry too much about spoilers. In part 3, which will be probably next week at some point, we're going to talk about the final 2 episodes. And in that episode, we're going to kind of be very spoiler heavy. But just for now, we're going to do quick summations. So, I started watching this show with, I think it's easy to say, a lot of trepidation, because I really love the Addams Family, you know. As I've always been a massive fan of the original black and white TV show, I used to always watch it with the monsters and things like that, and not to mention the 2 awesome movies. So when Wednesday was announced on Netflix, I was like insanely excited, but then also just terrified of what was going to happen. My initial review, which was episode 1, which was the last late night screen review, I was kind of iffy about it, because from the outset it looked like they smashed the kind of Addams Family IP with sort of like Rivendell, and then mixed in with a bit of like Harry Potter, Hogwartsy kind of stuff, and you know, it's set in a high school, so it's a high school drama, and you've got the zombies over here, and I don't know, the vampires and the werewolf kids, and they're all kind of in a school together, all the crazies. And there's a mystery, there's a murder mystery. Something happened years gone by with Gomez when he was at the school, because he was there as well. And what happened there? Did he, didn't he? And over the course of episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5, we find out about all this stuff. New mysteries arise, however. For me, at the minute, I'm kind of just feeling a bit like, I still don't know what I'm making with this show. There's so many positives behind this show. I mean, the actors are fantastic. The casting's great. You know, it's shot beautifully. The little small character interactions here or there are really kind of interesting and engaging sometimes. But apart from all those things, which sounds like a lot of really good stuff, everything else I just find really taxing, and also just very trite. I mean, I've seen this a million times, and this show's not doing it any better. You know, like I say, the kind of fantasy high school setup, and everybody's got, you know, there's all the little cliques of little different kind of groups. You know, the zombies and werewolves and all. And how do they get on? Like, there's a teen drama mixed in with all this kind of like horror kind of, you know, imagery and things like that. You know, we've seen this before, and this show's not really doing anything new with it, trying different things out. It's all very kind of, I find, cliche, and it really detracts from my enjoyment of the show, which is kind of disappointing for me. As I say, the characters are fantastic, though. Like, there's some really interesting, really well-written, funny jokes. But then, like I say, like, the sort of backbone, overarching plots, and there are 2 or 3 of them intertwining at any one point, are just very simplistic and basic. There's a lot of kind of real kind of simplistic metaphors and things like that in this show, and political satire as well, and things like that are just very on the nose, and it kind of really detracts from like I say, the small character pieces that I really enjoy. You know, you've got the really cool soundtrack. You know, you've got all these kind of, the iconography and the kind of feel of the Addams Family is present throughout this entire show. But as the show goes on and going through sort of episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5, as I say, these kind of teen angsty, Riverdale kind of love triangle kind of things, that all just keeps kind of showing its head, and it seems to, as the series goes on, just happen more and more and more. And all I want to see is like the Addams Family. I think one of the great episodes, I think it's episode 4, I believe, is where there's a family visitation day to the boarding school, and the Addams Family come back, and it's a great episode because it also unravels one of the main plots, one of the main mysteries is Gomez a killer? When he was at that school, did he murder this boy and blah 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 blah. No spoilers. I'm not going to spoil it. That's going to be for next time. But needless to say, it gets resolved, and it gets resolved in a very kind of generic, plot contrivanced way, and anything that you can see coming a mile off. But again, within that one plot line, it really there's some really nice little family moments and funny jokes between, Wednesday Addams and Morticia and all this kind of thing. So there's so many tiny little threads to pick at and to really enjoy if you're an Addams Family fan or a horror fan of that kind of thing. But for me, for the most part, this show has been very kind of cookie cutter, generic kind of frameworking with loads of little nice bits in between. Now, you can either kind of stick with something like that and really go for it and really enjoy it, or it's going to drive you crazy. And for me, it's kind of steering a little bit more now to driving me crazy. So as one kind of mystery thread is solved, another one begins and starts again. So right now we're, I think, episode 5, and then obviously I've not watched 6 and 7 yet, but as we go into 6 and 7, there's a new thing to discover, and we've got to find out what's going on. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Like I say, I'm enjoying it to a certain extent. It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. But for me, there's just so many just cheesy tropes that are just kind of going nowhere, not really kind of fulfilling any kind of itch that I have for this show. But there's also loads of little cool things that I enjoy. If you're somebody that's just kind of looking for something to watch, a kind of generic fantasy, horror-esque kind of teen drama, set in a kind of boarding school and the mystery, it's a bit like sort of Nancy Drew mystery. If you're into that kind of thing with pulling of a candle to reveal a bookcase that, maybe if you're a massive fan of the Scooby-Doo series, it has that kind of feel to the show, which I do enjoy, and I think that casual watchers out there will enjoy. But again, for me, as a kind of Addams Family kind of series on Netflix, it's like it keeps showing me little glimmers of things that I really want to grab hold of, and then takes it back and takes it away and goes, no, you can't see that anymore. So I'm feeling kind of very kind of disappointed in the show altogether. I'm still holding out hope, though. Things might twist and turn, and the last 2 episodes might kind of reveal something brand new and set up a second series that's going to be even better, because there is some gold to be mined here, folks. So I'm going to continue forward. As I say, next Let's Like Scream review, we're going to do episodes 6 and 7, and then we're going to kind of do a whole kind of summation of the show generally, and see what we find. But until next week, guys, until next time, keep safe, keep screaming, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.